Today we have 4 sessions. Everybody gets to select 2. Hopefully you got this in your mailbox yesterday. You had a chance just to look over it to see which sessions would best help you and where you are in your development.
So to make decisions, I use School Pace with they have their checks in there, the reds if they're not on level at the time, and then the early trajectory with the blues, meaning they made one extra catch-up growth or like they're above the green, they made 1 month's growth of the red, which they didn't, to base on making my small groups during cougar time, because in kindergarten right at the moment we don't switch during cougar time, we keep our own kids. So I have this Word document that has a table of who I meet with each day. It's about 10 to 15 minutes. It says 10 minutes, but it usually goes to 15. It's a 30-minute span. As you can see in the red, it's my group number 1, which would be those kids that didn't make that catch-up growth or are red on School Pace, they're below level. So I meet with them more frequently. And down here is the group focus. This is my one from last year. I just wanted to show you it has more of a range of abilities, because right now they're all kind of in the same area, but towards the end of the year they are all over the place. And my second group would be, they're the same skills, but they know more power words per se, so I'd meet with them 2 times as opposed to 3. My third group is on level, so I meet in the 3, 4, and 5 are on level or enrichment, so they're getting that once a week. And I usually leave Fridays for like testing, because power word testing and modern sound testing takes a really long time. So I leave that over here in any sort of catch-up group that needs to be taking place. So I have that table in front of me, each week, and then I have a little planner that I would map out what I'm doing with each group. And for number 1, the group number 1, it's different skills, power words and CBC words blending. So one day might be solely working on CBC words, whereas opposed the next day might be working on power words, vice versa. Divided up into the different levels with resources in them. Like my 1Y, I have different things it's tracking. So I have some resources just easy to grab and pull out. 3Y using the beginning sounds, and then 1G a bunch of power words, and then I have a bucket of games to go along. Like I said, before the week starts, I have a planner that I would already have these ideas mapped out, so not just before.
Where'd you get a lot of that? Did you make it yourself?
A lot of it is, you can go right on the School Pace. A lot of the resources are games, but then a lot of it's Pinterest and Teacher Pay Teacher. You just throw the sticky notes on and throw it through the printer. It says my power goal, and you can put whatever you want, but I have words. So each week I'd give them 5 words, because giving them the whole list of 60 is overwhelming. So when I come back, if they know those 5 words, they get a new 5. And like you can change the header to anything, whatever their power goal is, and write it down. It's an easier way to stick it in there.
I have a rent receipt book that I write their power goals on. So they get the copy, and then I'll get the copy.
Piece. It is whoever's done first. I don't have a schedule. Somebody asked if I had a schedule for writing. I do not. It's whenever a scholar is ready for me, then I will go meet with them one-on-one, and we'll quickly go over. Sometimes it's a quick meeting, and because I can read what they've written, or they don't need help, and sometimes we sit down and rewrite the whole thing together and really work on it. During that time, we do come up with writing goals, so they should be able to know what their writing goals are, and I've kept them very simple. I have other ones to add to it later on. Some of them are just using finger spaces. I have friends that need to still do capital letters in the beginning of a sentence. I have friends that need to go down and add very descriptive words because they're awesome writers, and they just need to work on fluffing up and making their writing more fun to read. So if you want to look at these for a second.
Our start for the day, they come in and they drop their bags over in their cubbies over here, their backpacks. They take out anything that they'll need for the day, including anything for math or reading, so they don't have to revisit their backpacks. Their lunches, if they're a lunch packer, they put it into this black crate over here on the counter, so that when we go to lunch, we have one thing, again, one less time that they have to visit their backpacks. If they have anything that needs to be for the afternoon, they put it over on here, so when they go over there to swap, everything is right in one place. When they get to their tables, every table has been labeled on the table as well as their supply bin. The supply bin has anything that they'll need for the day. They've got pencils, highlighters, glue sticks, crayons, scissors, and then here this child shouldn't have put this in here, but this is their garbage bin for their table. So they don't have to get up during the day to be able to get out of their seats for any reason other than if they need to go to the restroom or to wash their hands. At the bottom of each table, I'll go ahead and move up here. The bottom of each table, they've got everything that they'll need for the day, again, to minimize time out of their seat, to maximize instruction time. They've got their interactive writing journals for the AM and the PM class, as well as their social studies textbooks. We are starting a new text today, but if they had a new text, it would be in there. I'm gonna be handing it out today. We're gonna be doing Let's Classify Organisms, and the text would already be in their crates, so they don't have to get up at all. When we do transition for the morning, when we swap with my specialization teacher next door, my class will line up right here along the bookshelves. After they've lined up, the other teacher's classroom has lined up against her sink, which mirrors this classroom. So as we're transitioning over and my class is on the left-hand side, her class is on the left-hand side coming into my classroom. The last 2 kids in each class will take over the clip chart that's on wheels. So their clip chart travels with them for the day, so they're held accountable for their own behavior throughout the day in either class. When we transition back, their clip chart comes back with us in the afternoon. The clip chart over here mirrors the same clip chart we have here, and the transition in the classroom is seamless. We lose maximum, maybe 45 seconds for a transition, and that's it. Did this, but the scale that they do, she was absent, we just put this in. They would go ahead and choose which star that they're at, one being the bottom, top, or the 4 being the highest that you could be. Before the lesson, they'll put in the box what star number they are, and they feel that they're at that because of why. Why are they not at a higher level? Why do they feel that how do they feel they can grow? And then they're not there yet, but after the lesson, where have I grown to?
And so where is that kept?
That's kept in their journals and right here.
I'm doing my whole group or small groups or whatever during my reading block. They have this in front of them, so they can, like, for example, we're sitting at the carpet, we have our books, we're having discussions, they have their data binders out in front of them. So I can know in the beginning, can you guys point to it too? This is what we're working on, so they know they're working on and what they're going to be coloring in when it's that time, if they got it. So this is what they do in front of them. This is what they do as a whole group. For me to see if they are able to check it off, this would be towards the end of our lessons. This would be more like if I go around in a quick check or maybe even a discussion, they'll have this out and I can say, oh wow, you understand that, you can go ahead and check this off. Thank you for doing your work, and it looks like you're understanding the learning. I also walk around with a facilitation grid. Also, this is more when I do my discussions, and I highlighted the standards that we're working on. Obviously none yet because we just started this lesson, the standards. And I'm also able to, when I have discussions, if these aren't here, I can go back when they do have it open. I can see if they understood the lesson or they did not, or they needed my assistance. So I check it off like that if they understand it. And then they're able to go back and check off their learning. So,
do you have a copy of that grid in here too?
I do not, but I can send that.
Okay.
I can forward it to everybody in the school.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones you get from Aaron had sent out, right?
Yes.
Or you didn't create your own?
No, this is the one, but it meets all of the standards that we're teaching anyways. So I just used it rather than creating a whole new one. The next thing I want to talk about is how we created our scales. And I did post, I do have copies of the Marzano taxonomy and the verbiage that are supposed to be used in the specific levels as you go up. And when you look at this one, and you'll take this, when you look at this one, it tells you the level 1, the level 2, the level 3, and level 4. And usually that level 1 is the retrieval, and it will tell you the vocabulary words that you're able to use when you're creating that level 1 standard. Level 2 is the comprehension, and level 3 is the standard. So level 3 is where you'll put the standard, and then level 2 is where you will create like the baseline of that standard.